Probably. I mean, I'm still waiting for someone to get back to me. But yes, I suppose we should. I don't mind if I have to leave a little early, though. So, you guys can finish up without me if so.
Well, depending on how things go, it might not take too long, the session today.
Okay.
And until then, there's the music, and I can hear someone.
Yep. It's because I forgot to seep it through my headphones. Hold on a second. Fixing that now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Going for a bit more of a jaunty. Yeah, going for a bit more of a jaunty sound today. Anyway, last time, the gang decided to talk about politics for a while with a bunch of gold dragons.
With a single gold dragon.
Well, one gold dragon who represented the rest and may have been in a telepathic commune with the rest of them.
Also decide to be a bird on someone's head like a weirdo, and then take the form of a child.
Yes.
You say that like it's not normal.
I don't trust dragons.
Just saying, but if you could turn into literally anything, wouldn't you?
No!
Maybe. Not a child. I already had enough experience being a child.
Anyway.
The joke's there too obvious. Let's continue.
Why do you think I was making...
So, you found out that the gold dragons were actually pretty much on the ball from the word go because of your rather explosive entrance into the continent in the south.
We've never known subtlety, let's be honest.
I don't know, you guys did a pretty good job with the Rakshasi.
This is true.
Yeah. We just decided this time we were going to go in hot.
Mm-hmm.
And it has worked out so far.
Yeah. And so the dragons really only needed a few updates on exactly how bad the situation was. And after that, they promised to take care of it. And you offered some suggestions. They offered some counter-arguments about where to take the country next. Perhaps most surprisingly was the fact that apparently this whole continent has been affected by an ancient magical explosion that has that causes the land to reflect, to a certain extent, the societies that live there. To the point where peninsulas will form or fade away depending on who controls the landmass at the tip.
Yeah, that bit's pretty weird.
It's weird. But it's cool.
Just we shouldn't think too hard about it. It's not our job.
Yeah. But it seems to have some effect on what the dragons would consider effective or not. So it came up, you discussed it, and then after they promised to take care of things, you dropped off the one Vang heir back at the monastery where he was living out his life. And the other one is sort of a loose end, but one that you can really only have to think about later.
Handle at our leisure.
Yeah, you've otherwise resolved the Gold Empire's issues, or put them in the hands of someone, a group, who will definitely resolve it without your help. And so you can turn your attention elsewhere, which you have resolved to do, specifically by going to the island nation of Neja.
Very excited.
Well, I say nation, but it's really a series of fiefdoms that are currently...
Warring states, some might say.
Yes. Currently in conflict with one another. The only guaranteed safe harbor being the capital.
feed me that Sengoku bullshit.
The capital's name is Yotok. This is something that Marlia is able to explain to you, because this is a relatively stable area, the eye of the hurricane, as it were. This is where the Cult of the Dragon has decided to set up their local stronghold. And otherwise, you shouldn't expect a large presence there.
All right.
All right.
So with that known, is there anything you wanted to do before heading straight over? It is the morning after you spent the night with the Gold Dragons.
What's for breakfast?
Similar to what you had the night before. Just relatively simple fare, but extremely well crafted.
God,
Nice.
there's nothing worth taking. This place sucks.
Aurelia's just gonna, enjoy the morning and be ready to depart forthwith.
Yeah.
This is a sort of modesty only allowed to the rich, and it's gross.
Yeah, I know, it sucks.
Well, no, I think it's just called having class, but I'm sure one day you'll figure it out.
Doubt.
Well, in any event, you do make that quick hop north to the monastery. Doesn't take too long, about an hour. And so after that, you head off towards the islands. The islands, you note, are just as craggy and vertical as the rest of this continent, even though it's technically not a part of it, or shouldn't be.
Islands can be part of a continent.
Well, it's a bit of a gray area, especially when it seems to be under the same sort of chi curse as the rest of the areas.
Right. Okay.
Nevertheless, there seem to be a fair number of volcanic peaks. You can tell because of the calderas at the top. And so, perhaps because of the curse, perhaps because of other means that science of your time has not figured out yet, the area is volcanically active, you would see. Nevertheless, there seems to be, just from what you can see from above, a fair number of settlements all across the lands. Those areas that are not vertical seem to be quite fertile, quite able to support a large number of crops. And so you can clearly see the areas marked out for rice fields and soybeans, other such plants. Now, the capital of Yotok is, unlike some of the other capitals you've been to, right along the ocean. And so as you approach it, you are, for the first time in a while now, able to make an ocean landing and go from there into the port of the city. And likewise, the other airships that you join up with as you approach, they take a similar landing just outside the bay area surrounding Yotok, or that Yotok uses for its ships. And the city seems pretty much similar to the land, lively, active, colorful. And even just from the port, you can tell all of this. And one other thing you happen to notice is that there is a rather familiar-looking, yet out-of-place ship among those docked along the many piers of Yotok. A dark ship. Iron dark.
Oh!
With chimneys
Interesting.
That's-
Those
stick up
guys!
along the center.
Our good buddies, yeah.
These ships are particularly recognizable to Aurelia since they have visited your port in the past.
The Colonia ships.
Mm-hmm.
So as you pull up to a one of the piers, you are actually directed there by a someone in a very small ship with not a ship, but a boat with a sail and a pole for controlling it through the harbor. And they direct you to an open berth. And like usual, when you get there, you are greeted by someone who tells you there's a berthing fee, there's might be an inspection of your ship. And one thing of note, actually, is that as foreigners, you are not permitted to walk around with weapons through the city.
Wouldn't deny an old man is walking. No. I mean, I literally have a stick. Like, oh no, I guess I do have a silvered mace. So.
Can I bullshit my weapon?
Well, it would look like a hilt, so it's worth a shot. So roll deception.
Oh man, deception, finally. I fucking love deception.
Can't wait for you to roll a 1 and then be like, no, that's actually a 10.
Yeah, actually that's a 23.
All right. Well, seems to work pretty well because you let the inspector pick up the hilt, have a look at it, and since it needs to be attuned, nothing happens when he pushes the button. So he hands it back, and you're good.
Now,
Stupid toy.
what about my dumb rod? Does that look like a weapon?
It's
when
a flanged mace.
It does look rather threatening, yes.
Okay. And it's only a flanged mace when I put it in one of the modes, isn't it?
Actually, it's a flanged mace, as that's its default mode.
Oh, really?
It turns into other dangerous things.
I see. Okay, I didn't realize it looked like that normally. Hold on.
I will hand over my mace because I barely ever use it, but I will not hand over my staff.
They don't want to hold your items. They want you to leave it behind in your ship.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'll leave my mace
Yeah, I
behind.
need-
Fucking whatever.
I need to leave behind my many knives and my crossbow.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna put the crossbow in the portable hole.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, can I just put it? They can't search my bag of holding, right? Can I
No.
just put it in my bag of holding?
I mean, the only way to find out what's in a bag of holding if you didn't put it in there is to flip it inside out.
Right.
Otherwise, it looks like a normal, yet heavier than it should be, bag.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm just gonna stick it in the bag of holding then.
Oh, do you mind if I shove my mace in there?
Sure.
All right.
Have you literally ever used that?
I've used it a couple of times.
You don't
Okay.
actually need to. Your staff is a +2 quarter staff.
I know, but but my mace is also silver. I mean, I guess. Yeah, never
Fine,
mind.
I'm also gonna keep some
keep
spare
forgetting.
knives in the.
I keep forgetting that my staff is actually a +2 quarterstaff and therefore better than my mace.
Yeah, I did say. And yeah, this is 5th edition, so silver does not come up at all once you have magic.
Okay.
Just gonna leave some of my knife collection here in the portable hole.
I mean, I was considering whether it was because we don't know if these people also worship Onos or whatever. Because I mean, maybe I could get an exception.
But also, we're foreigners.
Well, you could try inquiring.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, okay, so presumably Aurelia would have the mace on her when she's told about this rule. So she could explain it. If it doesn't work, she could go back and stick it in the bag of holding. So, yes, she's going to ask whoever informs her, if the people of this land worship Lord Onos.
Lord Onos. What's the name of that western sky god, isn't it?
Yes.
No. We revere the dragons here. We honor the elemental ancestors. But no sky gods here.
Well, all right. I suppose the fact that this is, literally the relic of that god that, designates me as his agent on this planet just won't mean anything to you. All right, I'll go leave it on the ship.
Well, if you need to present it to someone, we could go through a licensing procedure, but you'd probably need an escort.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll just leave it on the ship. She then puts it in the bag of holding when she goes back to the ship.
Well, below decks, this is happening on deck.
Oh, I didn't realize it was on deck. I thought it was like on the dock or on the pier or something. All right, that's fine.
Well, it's a busy dock. They want to save time, so they're giving you guys this rundown as the inspection is taking place.
Okay.
Fair enough. All right. So she will, when she's out of sight, put it in the bag of holding.
Yeah, I just got a stick, so.
You have a sapling. Why do you have a sapling?
It's a religious thing.
I see. Lord Onos again?
No.
No, they just really like trees.
It's
I see.
it's a foreign god, essentially.
They're one of those druids, you know?
I'm not a okay.
You're a druid.
I am.
You're a fucking druid.
No, I'm really not.
That word has no meaning to me.
No,
So
they're tree worshippers.
Either way, it's... Well, long staffs are permitted, but be careful about how you use it. If you...
Oh, trust me, I know how to
threatening-
use my staff.
Well, that's the issue, actually. If you use it in a threatening manner, you may get a lot of attention from the guards and
I mean,
knights.
they're not threatening with it, I can assure you. The most attention-grabbing thing they will do is turn into a tree, and it's stupid.
Excuse me, it has saved a lot of time in the past.
I'm
Don't
going
worry.
to leave you to that. So, who else would you be bringing along with you this time?
I mean, fucking, we'd have to. How are we gonna smuggle the spear with Grunesh? I guess in the bag of holding, or in the portable hole.
Wait, can we just have it turn into a person?
She wouldn't just do that,
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
fine.
let's
even to get around a weapon restriction.
yeah, let's just slide her into the portable hole and not worry about it.
That'll be weird, but okay.
All right.
Uh,
So, how about the NPCs?
I kind of see if we can actually bring along Marlia for fucking once.
Yeah, let's bring Marlia for once.
Now that we don't have any dragons to worry about, hopefully.
And honestly, bringing Marlia would probably mean having to smuggle less weapons past.
You know, we're still in Dragonland. Even if that one asshole's dead.
I mean, yeah, but we don't need to deal with the golds.
Well, plus the worm folks still might recognize me.
Oh, fucking okay. Keep the kid company then, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. I just... You know I didn't get into adventuring to see the sights, Lily, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Yeah.
Guess we can bring Lorem?
Though, to be fair, neither did I, but this is a weird string of accidents.
Lorem's willing to come, and actually he gets a bit of a reaction from the harbor crew. Like, they don't seem to quite trust him.
I wouldn't trust him either.
It's that sort of long look that you see from people back in Okard tend to give goblins, and to a lesser extent, orcs. It's that kind of, oh, it's one of you looks.
They don't like
They don't
mages.
like wizards?
Well, he hasn't done anything mage-like.
Oh.
And
Oh!
his robes are completely foreign.
Elf. It's an elf thing. I forgot that Lorem was an elf.
Oh, he's an elf? I was never told this! You knew Laura before I did! I was never told of the elf thing!
Pretty sure it's come up, plus it's pretty obvious from his pog.
Just Lily sitting there like he's an elf?
You never noticed Lily! What is
All
wrong
the
with you?
humanoids look the same to me!
That's a little racist.
It is
It
probably!
is kind of small.
But imagine you being my height!
I mean, I was when I was 6.
Exactly!
Anyway. So, considering he's with a mixed crew, they don't really ask him any questions, but they do keep a closer eye on him than they do on the rest of you.
Really? They wouldn't be giving Aurelia looks?
Yeah, I mean, Aurelia
Really, it looks
does
like
look
an elf.
pretty elfy.
Yeah.
Well, elf-ish.
Elf-esque.
Elf adjacent.
Elfy.
I always picture Eladrin as looking even more elfy than elves, so I assume that a half Eladrin is like more elfy than a regular
More
half elf.
human than human.
But I will what? But I will also admit that that's 100% just my mental picture,
Mhm.
and may not actually reflect canon, as it were.
Well, the human part of you means that you're essentially more built up than the average elf.
Aurelia is buffer than.
Called you chonky.
That's not true. Aurelia is not chonky.
That's more like thick.
God damn it! I was just about to type thick into the chat.
Fair.
Anyway, Marlia doesn't want to go, but
Does Silky want to come?
Does.
All right.
Silky always wants to come,
And we really shouldn't bring Harvey.
but yeah, she will put her weapons into your bag of holding as well.
Of course.
Damn, that's a big bag.
And she once again volunteers to meditate and search the area for dragons.
That'd be nice. Thanks, honey.
Yeah. Well, for that matter, the city kind of curves around the bay, so she can just do that while you're still getting through the inspection.
Sounds good. So, when you say that this is the capital, or well, maybe this is something that we would have to investigate a bit more, or maybe like Marley or someone would already know, but I assume that means this is where like the Emperor lives?
Well, would you like to ask the dockmaster?
Well, I don't want to bother him if he's busy, but I mean, if he's willing to answer some questions about the place, then yes, I would like to ask him if that means that this is where the Emperor lives. Because we, as I understand it, this is a Sengoku situation. There is like an Emperor, right? Who,
yes,
is
ruler in name only.
Who nominally rules everything, but then it's divided up among various daimyo or whatever the daimyo equivalent in this world is.
Oh yes, you can actually see his residence from here. It's just right up the side of the hills, towards the top, that big red roof, and just beyond that, where you see that tower, that's the edge of the city. Mostly it's spread around the harbor here, rather than building up along the hillside.
Fair enough. All right.
Interesting.
And
Good to know.
the Emperor has decreed that this city should be a neutral ground. And so the various forces moving back and forth have left us alone. It's been good for trade. Good place to bring goods in when you're not quite sure who rules, who's in charge of a nearby port. So we've been getting a lot of foreigners such as yourselves here. Of course, even you're not quite so foreign as those fellows. Points towards where the black ship is docked.
Yes, the Kalanians.
Yeah,
They're lovely people.
they are. They're quite nice.
I mean, they're okay. They have some
They
very...
treated us pretty well. Come
They
on.
have... Yeah, sure. I mean, they just have some very odd ideas about government, civics, that sort of
Yeah,
thing.
it's that their
you're
government
hung up on
fucking
that
rules.
Again. Okay.
Also, some of them are weird and don't believe in magic, and it's...
Yeah,
stupid.
Have you actually been where they're from?
yeah, it was great.
Yeah. Yes, we have.
I
It-
never heard of anyone actually going there and coming back.
It's weirdly devoid of magic, and I don't know how to feel about it.
Well, in any case, thank you for your help. Am I to understand then that, and forgive my impertinence if I speak of this incorrectly, that the Emperor does rule the city directly? Then there's no intermediary controlling day-to-day affairs in the capital.
Oh, there is a mayor of the capital put in place by the Emperor. And
I see.
Honestly, the Emperor doesn't really have much of an army. It's just there to issue decrees. We're really only a neutral ground because the people with actual armies decided that would also be a good idea.
I see.
Does the Emperor do anything?
These days, he sits in that palace and he spends our money.
So once
God,
again,
ain't
Aurelia
that the
has
truth.
drastically overestimated the regard that people have for their rulers. All right.
It sounds like any other ruler to me, but
Okay, well, I don't have to take this from you guys. Many rulers are very hands-on in helping their citizens.
Well, that's still a healthy attitude to take, depending on who you're in earshot of. It's not always healthy to laugh at the Emperor like I just did. But you're foreigners, and I know these guys.
oh, it's one of those.
We'll keep that in mind.
Well, yes, thank you again for your assistance.
Well, luckily it's not too hard to just ignore the Emperor entirely, so just don't have an opinion about it, like I do when I'm in mixed company.
Any good places to eat?
Yeah, what's there to eat here?
All across the place. They got kids running meals to the dock workers all day. They, from a few different cooking places nearby.
All right.
Yeah.
Time to go find some food then.
Good food. Let's do it.
Time to force Bobbin to give a detailed description of
To learn the
another
joys
form
of
of
miso.
Oh, you sound like... you make that sound like I don't love food.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah. All right.
So, as you gather the group who's going into town, Silky just takes Aurelia aside just to speak to her privately and say, I didn't find any dragons in the area. There's actually none in this entire city right now. But I did find something interesting. Because I don't just sense dragons, I also sense humanoids of all the various types. And I can identify which ones are around. Every other time since we came to this continent, it's only been humans. This time there's something different. Is a small group, maybe just a family, of gnomes.
Oh no!
Can't wait to learn their terrible names!
No!
Hell yes!
Some
Not
Vedita
again!
in the city. I don't know if this means anything, but there you go. Oh, and there are also a lot of humans with elemental powers in them. I don't know how to describe them. It's never sensed anything quite like this before. I guess there's a genasi we've heard.
I was
heard about.
literally just about to ask you out of
Yes.
character, are you talking about the Genasi, so...
Yeah, I thought that was pretty clear because we did talk about them last time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, that is interesting. Thank you. Perhaps we should seek out these gnomes. I mean, at the very least, it might be interesting to see who these other foreigners are, if indeed they are foreigners. Although I would
Love to go visit them.
if they are not, then I'm sure there's an interesting story behind
Anything but gnomes.
that.
They're not all like the deep gnomes.
It's strange because I've never really heard about the gnomes being big explorers or sailors.
Well,
They
if
come
it's
in all kinds.
Surely a small group. Yes, there's always variation among people.
I mean, really, how many goblins have you seen the world over?
Yeah. More than a few.
Some gnomes.
Look, all I'm saying is, can we not deal with the gnomes?
My bardic mentor, he quite enjoyed traveling the continent at the very least.
But yes, on the land though. Have you ever heard of gnomes going out to sail?
I don't know. Have I?
Perhaps they didn't sail. Perhaps they teleported here.
There is a history check you could make
Yeah.
if you
Oh,
want to
okay.
plumb your knowledge.
I mean, let's do it with my whole plus one. Oh, no, I probably haven't. Oh, no! Finally, somebody who knows their
Nailed it.
history.
A lot of gnomish history in particular.
Yeah. In my defense, I went to public school.
Lake went to school.
In my defense, I
Briefly.
didn't go to school. I went to school of hard knocks.
Well, you are aware that the gnomes mostly live underground in their on the peninsula, which they have claimed for themselves. As such, ocean going does not really translate well to their preferred habitats. Although they do tend to enjoy being on the surface and traveling around more than the dwarves do, who also live mostly underground, but still prefer to stay there much more than the gnomes. On the other hand, you are aware that there are a couple of ports along the gnome lands, but the ports tend to have a lot of mixed populations, not just gnomes, but a very large percentage of humans and goblins and orcs and halflings.
Right.
And as far as Karasdak sailing goes, that you mostly hear about some of the lizard folk up in the north being sailors, and of course Okar in the south, and a few of the city-states where you're from, having big sailing traditions.
Fair enough.
Also the sea elves, the blue elves, but you don't know too much about them. They're on the other side of the continent.
Yeah. Well, I assume Viana would have more of a sailing tradition than most of the city-states, since
Right.
most of them wouldn't have access to the sea.
Right, like I said, a few of them, yours included.
Fair enough. Okay.
Meanwhile, Lake and Lily are just... Gnomes have history?
I went to public
Look,
school.
There's a hole in my gnome-based history filled with rage.
I mean, I feel like that's a very common theme with Lily, to be honest.
Lily, much like me, translates complicated emotions into hate or anger. It's very healthy.
She's got a lot of hate to spare, so she stashes it in various places.
Fair.
Saving it for the winter.
All right. Well, look, I think we should go see these gnomes.
Can we eat first?
Yeah, let's get some ramen. Or something else that Bobbin wants to describe.
Well, down by the docks, there's a lot of to-go food, and like the dockmasters mentioned, there's a lot of kids running back and forth with packages delivering off to the various docks where people are having their lunch breaks. And maybe you grab one and just ask them where they came from, or maybe you just spot where they're coming from and head in that direction. But you eventually make your way to a restaurant that, much like the ones down in the south, is very much open to the avenue outside. There's a lot of open space for a breeze to run through, since with the ocean so nearby, it's relatively warm, even despite being fairly far north.
Ocean air is fucking great. Out of character.
Mhm.
As someone who lives by the ocean, let me tell you.
I live relatively close to an ocean, and yes, I agree.
No matter where I am in my state, I am in spitting distance of the ocean.
Fair enough.
Right. So, You, well, what exactly are you looking to get from them?
Oh, hang on.
What do you mean?
Well, they've got bowls of soup. Some of them dressed up and with toppings and noodles, others just fairly plain and simple, something that you can just sort of grab, glug up, hand the bowl over, and head out.
I want something hearty.
Yeah, hearty
you
sounds good.
You can tell that because a lot of the dock workers who apparently work near this restaurant are coming in, grabbing a bowl, drinking it, and heading back out. Others of them are grabbing what seems to be fried foods. Just fish coated in a batter, fried on a sizzling hot plate in the back, as you can hear, and then presented.
That sounds good. Let's get that.
I want fried shit, but I also want some of that noodle shit.
All right. Well, the chef warns you that you can combine them, but they need to be thrown in at the last second.
This is fine by me.
Yes, sounds good.
All right, that's so yeah, you are presented with a fairly large bowl that is just sort of filled with noodles and then filled to the brim with a broth, some sort of variety of vegetables just sort of tossed in along with a half-boiled egg. And then along the side are just chopped, battered fish. You're told that once you get the noodles out, you are to dip the fish into the broth and then eat it.
Sounds good. Sounds cool.
Got to slurp those noodles as
I
loud as
only caught
possible.
Half the description, but it sounds good. And it doesn't sound spicy.
Make a constant no.
Oh, okay, hold on. I'm just curious now. I am literally just curious now. Well, alright, I would have had to burn a luck on that, but we're not actually making one, so.
No. No spices this time.
Alright.
And there is something you notice as you take your lunch, which is that there are my roommate just poked her head in and closed the door. So, something you notice as you are eating your lunch and taking in the crowd surrounding you is that there are a few people in it who are exceptionally colorful. Like in a way that you haven't seen since the Feywild and the Eladrin.
Cool.
So like I've never seen.
Yeah. But it's not just four big colors in this case. It is just a variety of spectrums. Like someone is sky blue, or cloud blue, or ocean blue, or ocean green, or fire red, or fire yellow.
Huh.
It's just their skin is solid colors that are distinctly not in the normal human range, or even in the goblin and orc range.
So these are presumably the Genasi.
Yes.
Whatever they are, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Something else you note is that the ones who are colorful are clearly better dressed than those around them.
Oh no, classism.
No. I'm gonna have to come here and fix that too.
Fix.
And a lot of them are visibly armed, whereas the peasants and the foreigners such as yourself are not.
It's true, I'm not visibly armed.
Right.
Wouldn't deny an old person
What
their walking stick.
when you say they're physically armed, what kind of weapons do they have?
A fairly eclectic variety. They seem to have been custom made for each person. Even the sheaths or the hilts of long weapons, the sheaths of swords or daggers are designed with shapes that resemble the element that they apparently belong to, and use some colors that complement their skin tone. The same is true about their outfits. They are, in many cases, fully embroidered from collar to toe in a variety of images that call to mind the elements of air, water, earth, or fire.
Cool.
Like holding me back.
I mean, you're gonna have to try and hold me back.
I stick your fingers.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, I don't have the fucking belt anymore, so it's gonna be kind of hard for me to hold you back with my -1.
I'm like half your size, you fucking weakling.
Yeah, but you also have 2 modifier points on me.
I'm stronger than both of you right now.
Yeah, probably.
So,
Are you wearing the belt?
yes.
Yeah, you're definitely stronger than you're stronger than. I guess you would be stronger than us combined, considering our combined modifier is 0.
All right. So, are we gonna go find the gnomes now?
Yeah, sure. Let's go.
All right. With a full stomach, Silky leads you out further into the winding city streets. Now, I say winding, but it's actually fairly straight lines. Fairly straight avenues and streets and and even the alleyways seem fairly regular.
It's like the city was planned or something.
Yeah, that seems fairly self-evident, and as such, it's relatively easy to make your way through until you reach a shopping district. And after Silky meditates for another minute, she identifies one of the shops as being the one with the gnomes in it.
I go in. I want to meet these guys.
And just a quick thing is that hanging above the open air entrance to this shop is a board with a Erlenmeyer flask on it. Or whatever that one's called. You know, the triangle one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Alchemists.
Yeah, that's an Erlenmeyer flask.
Hell yeah, chemical shit.
All right, and sitting in the store waiting for you is a small gnomish woman who bows deeply as you enter. Says, "Greetings, foreigners. My name is Perkle Bevelbottom. I'm a gnome, and this is my shop."
I never would have guessed that you were a gnome.
Can you please paste that name into the... Because...
Just gonna call you Perky.
That's Perkle Bevelbottom.
Just gonna call you Perky.
Okay.
Hello, Perkle.
Interesting. This doesn't seem to be a pun.
No, it doesn't.
Or maybe it is.
It is. Remember the shop we're in. But yeah, no, hi Perky. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well. Business is good. You wouldn't happen to be from Carosdak, would you?
Yeah, we are.
We would, yes.
I knew it. So, that's where most of the gnomes are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I've never been there myself. Family settled in this area long time ago. Centuries, at least. Never had the chance to go down there, see where all the other gnomes live, see what it's like. My
It's
dad.
terrible.
Are there other gnomes around here besides your family?
Oh, gnomes get around, but in this city, it's just us. There's a few others in the archipelago, certainly.
Okay. Aurelia's thoughts were going towards how a single family sustains a population over that many generations, but
I'd have had no chance to find a husband otherwise.
Just gonna break out the gnomish family tree.
It's just a straight
The
line.
long line of bevel bombs. Oh no.
Well, it's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. In that case, I am Aurelia Zaffarani di Viana, Prince of Viana. It's a place in Karastak.
I knew it.
I'm like,
So, like what?
It's just like
I mean, I could
that's the full
give
name.
you,
Just like
I could give you the full elven titles that I've given
It's
myself, but I'm just gonna
just
leave it at like.
just
Oh.
like
Names
You
don't
know-
count if they give them to yourself. If you give them to yourself.
just like.
You know Elven?
Yes, I do.
Well, I suppose if you're a traveler, that's a skill that would come in handy.
Yeah, I know quite a bit of languages actually. Including one I didn't realize I knew until fairly recently.
Oh, but... Oh, wait, you're an elf, aren't you? And she is pointing at Lorem. He goes, yes. One of the elves from Karostak. Oh, okay. Yeah, that explains why you're with them.
Yeah, not from the other continent. No.
No.
Yes, I'm assuming that perhaps some of the people here don't have the best opinion of the elves who live to your east. Would that be correct?
Oh, no. I mean, they don't travel this far west too often, but, well, we do have to come to the rescue of human settlements over on the continent, the mainland, to the east. And everything we hear about them is just more bad news.
Speaking of languages, do you and your family speak Gnomish regularly, or have you adopted?
Oh, of course we speak it at home, but that's about the only occasion we do have. And aside from the times that we meet up with the other families in the area, catch up, matchmaker events, that sort of thing.
Aurelia says in Gnomish, "Well, that's a shame. I've always appreciated the language, just to show off."
Yeah, just
Yeah.
Lily's like, look at this fancy asshole.
She tilts her head. That is an interesting accent.
Well, I'm curious whether that's because Aurelia is a second language speaker of it, or if it's because of who Aurelia learned it from.
Remember that how long the gnomes have been over here without
Would be
contact
hard
with Paris?
to. Would be hard to figure out. Hard to separate.
Fair. Well, I mean, it would depend if Aurelia has got that feedback from other gnomes before.
I've never seen someone quite so taken aback like that.
Okay. Perhaps a combination of the two, then.
So at the very least, your accent hasn't been that exciting until just now.
Fair. Well, I apologize if I'm...
Oh, no. You got the words right. That's fine.
Well, then.
Yeah, she likes to
So what-
show off.
What brings you to my humble shop, anyway? It's always nice to hear about people from foreign lands, but, well, I assume you didn't just stumble into my shop by happenstance.
Complete blind luck.
Well, we are just exploring the city at the moment. So
Oh,
there was no particular purpose, to be honest. But of course, we would be happy to hear about your wares.
Yeah.
oh, my wares. Well, I don't have anything to pick up right now. Everything I build is on commission. You understand?
Oh, I see.
And, well, I suppose if you're staying in town for a few months, I could get something together for you.
Oh no!
Well, I mean, we wouldn't actually have to stay in town for months because we can get back here very easily. So.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I was saying that out of character, but.
Okay.
What
what do
sort
you
of things
build?
do you build then? Yeah.
Oh, various contraptions that they need in a place like this. Effort-saving devices, mostly. Just, little automatons that can get things done so that the person directing them can focus on other things. Like I've got a fairly successful one in one of the restaurants nearby. All it does is chop. Chop, chop, chop. Very good at chopping.
Hasn't chopped any people yet.
Oh, I hope not. That would probably depend on what the chef is doing with it.
Have you built any larger automatons?
The plural of automaton is automata. Thank you very much. Aurelia does say that out loud.
Well, the largest one I've ever built is almost went up to the ceiling here. The ceiling is actually relatively low.
Well, yeah.
Big and tall enough for, humans, and Grenache doesn't have to hunch or anything, but it's not that much taller than he is. Of course, that one was for sorting paperwork. They needed it down at the city center.
I'm just
Needed to
trying.
needed to be tall to file all of the paperwork they've got there.
Okay.
Reach all of the different shelves,
Interesting. Aurelia likes this idea. She's trying to think if there's anything that she needs an automaton for.
Trying
It
to
probably
think
isn't much,
if
though.
there's a way I can describe Robert and see if she can build me another Robert for cheaper than 100,000 gold or however much Bobbin.
To be fair, Robert was a very specialized piece of magic technology.
Yes.
Very special.
But
boy.
that's why I'm wondering if there's a way that Perky here
Also,
could
her
even
machines sound a lot simpler.
yeah. That's why I'm like wondering.
Well, you can always bring it up.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, hey, have you ever built anything like... And then I just basically described Robert. I described a shield guardian.
Oh, a shield guardian.
Okay.
Well, you should have just said so.
Okay, well, I didn't know if you
No,
knew
no,
about
I'm not. I'm not nearly an enchanter good enough to build one of those things. I mean,
Alright.
it would be amazing if one day I could build a clay golem. That would be something.
That would be neat.
I mean, might build a flesh golem, but probably shouldn't.
Yeah, probably no.
That'd be pretty cool.
You would say that.
What?
Okay, well, no. Robert, the dream of Robert Jr. has once again died.
Well, okay. I don't think there's much that we want from her necessarily.
Unless we
Although,
want to, like, buy a Roomba or something.
that would
Get
be
a-
kind of funny.
Get a
actually.
Roomba for the ship!
Yeah, that's literally what I was just thinking.
I'm just thinking of a magic Roomba now, I'm sorry.
Yeah. All right. Well, it was a pleasure to meet you, but and I will certainly keep in mind your shop if I happen to discover that I am in need of an automaton. But we should probably be going for the moment.
Yeah,
All right.
but it was
well,
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet those from Kara's deck. Oh, hang on a second. As Aurelia turns around, she hops up, runs up, and looks at the instrument on your back.
Oh,
This is one of the bardic instruments, isn't it?
yes, it is. I was trained in the gnomish bardic traditions.
Oh, that's amazing. And this little symbol here on the butt of the harp, that's a college symbol, isn't it?
Yes, it is the symbol of Anstruth.
Anstruth. Huh. I don't know what that means.
It's one of the bardic colleges. I am told it is the finest of all the bardic colleges, though I did not attend it myself. Rather, my current master attended there.
Oh, that explains it.
Amanda Hug and Kiss, right?
Yes.
That's such a silly name.
I fucking know, right?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
They're
Yeah,
not
I
the
know.
worst ones we've come across.
Well, it's kind of a shame, but the people around here they don't have a good sense of humor, so we gotta keep the names among the tall folk just a little silly, but not actual jokes like that.
I mean, at least your name isn't Lemon Party. What does that even mean?
I don't know. I don't know.
Sounds like it's an inside joke.
Mhm.
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, there's also 2G Unsi, so I don't get that one
sounds
either.
like they're just trying to. That sounds like they're just trying to punish people for trying to say their name.
Yeah.
So how was the trip here from Kara's deck?
Very smooth.
Yeah.
Well, fairly easy in
pretty
our
smooth.
case.
I mean, we ran into a cloud giant.
No, that was elsewhere.
Oh, that was elsewhere?
What?
That was on the way to
Oh, yeah, that's right.
South Kalagia.
That was on the way to South Kalachi. Right.
There's wait. There's cloud giants in the ocean. I thought they'd be up in the sky.
No,
Yeah.
we have a flying ship.
Yeah, we have a flying ship.
Oh. Well, did you get that from the gnomes too?
Thank God, no.
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 Too bad we can't use ours too often, though.
Why is that?
Oh well, just ever since we settled here, it's only for emergencies or family gatherings. Thing. I'd really love to just take it down to Karastak.
Oh,
I told you
okay.
that, right?
Yes. Well, I
Why
mean,
don't you?
if you'd like to visit at some point, I mean, we
Could
could
arrange that, yeah.
give you a ride.
Well, I hardly need your spelljammer to do that.
Wait, how'd you know it was a spell?
Wait,
jam?
what?
Well, I figured if it's a flying ship that can go all the way to Karastak, I mean, the local flying ships here, they can barely stand the coastal storms.
Oh, okay.
Huh. Interesting.
How many people know about spelljammers? I kind of thought it was like not a thing.
Oh, it's not a thing for a lot of people on this planet, but
Wait,
when
What do
we
you mean on
settled
this
here,
planet?
wait, are you saying that
What do you
gnomes
mean on this planet?
Are you saying that gnomes don't come from this planet at all? Are you saying that gnomes are from another
Of course
planet?
not.
Oh, okay.
No, we came from this other planet. It was this whole big thing.
Gnomes are all aliens on this planet! Oh my god, Bobbin! I love this!
I mean, personally, I don't really find this surprising at all, but
I mean, yeah, have you heard their naming convention?
this explains why gnomes can't interbreed with anyone.
This is true.
Unless they can. Wait, can they?
You've never heard of it happening.
Yeah. Then again, halflings can't either.
Well,
Or can they?
in that case, it's mostly cultural isolation.
Right.
Plus, when halflings and humans interbreed, they just sort of look short.
Mm. Or tall,
The
depending on your perspective.
3/4lings, yeah.
Interesting.
There's not that much distinction in the first place compared to the other races.
So
Fair
basically,
enough.
most gnomes will know about spelljammers. That's great.
I mean, not necessarily.
I mean, this one certainly just dropped that info bomb on us.
More importantly, there are other worlds with other people. It's kind of the bigger takeaway here.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, as you've been freaking out,
I
she's
mean,
been describing
that part isn't
something that she
surprising.
just
We
calls them.
literally met aliens already. Like,
Yeah, like, I knew that. We work with
You
an
just-
alien.
But yeah, you just kind of discovered that your next door neighbor has also been an alien, and you just didn't bother to ask.
fair enough. I mean,
Lily's
it can't
in
be
the
something
middle
that
of
is
having an existential crisis right
that is
now.
advertised openly, or else Aurelia probably would have found. I mean, she has spent a lot of time around gnomes, so I assume it's
it's-
not something they talk about a lot.
It's not something they talk about in mixed company now, but it's not so secret that they wouldn't answer your questions if asked directly.
Nice.
Hmm.
They just make a
In
point
that
to-
case, I want to make a history roll to see if Aurelia already knew that.
Well, let's see what number you get. Not quite, no.
Okay.
I mean, you always got the sense that gnomes were a little off tempo,
Hmm.
and this seems to fit in with everything else that's a bit off about them, and the fact that you find gnomes literally everywhere.
Right. Huh, interesting. All right.
But this is still news to you.
Fair enough. Fair.
This is great. I love this.
Huh, okay. Well, all right. So our main goal here is just to find the I forget. Sorry, do we have any
There's
specific knowledge about the location of the thing?
Marlia told you all she knew, and last you heard is that they were still trying to find the best place. Still establishing it.
All right. So how do we track them down?
Well, if Marlia No, I guess no. Scrying is specifically people. I can't scry objects. I don't think.
No.
Okay.
You can scry locations, but only if you've been there or seen it yourself before.
Right, and then that's right, because finding items is like a specific spell.
Yeah.
I would like to ask Perkle, if we wanted to learn a little bit more about, the politics and geography of these islands, who would you suggest asking about that?
Oh, well, if you want to learn more about the area, then, I suppose you could go to City Hall.
All right.
That's where the mayor's office is. It's where the city administration takes place.
I see.
Yeah,
All
there's a lot of paperwork that goes into living around here.
Yeah, well, I got that impression from what you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, and well, most of it's available at the City Hall.
All right.
Oh, cool! The cheap ass glue that they use in the books kind of fell apart, so my physical book from page 267 to 290 just doesn't connect with the rest of it anymore. Just sort of fell out. That's neat.
Huh.
Anyway, continue.
Right, so you've been told to go to City Hall.
Right?
Yeah, let's check it out.
All right, and there is also the black ship, in case you think that might be useful.
I mean, maybe, but I'd rather go to City Hall.
All right. Well, City Hall turns out to be a fairly large building with several stories built up. And unlike a lot of civic buildings that you've encountered before, this one is not built with defense in mind. This one seems to be fairly open, and there are several doors around the perimeter that allow people to come in and leave as they will. That being said, you do see a fairly larger concentration of the Genasi around here. Not just people looking around for who have a destination in mind, but actually Genasi guards who are just sort of scanning the crowds, watching the perimeter. And in some cases, just standing imposingly, just to make sure that people know that there is a presence here.
Okay.
Will you be entering?
No, we're gonna stand and stare for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, let's do it.
All right. You head inside, and it is very busy. Like, this city is already quite busy, with people heading in all sorts of directions down the cleanly paved streets. But in here, it is absolute chaos. Everybody's running in every possible direction. And a lot of them seem to be wearing the same uniform, a fairly plain but heavily bleached robe of pure white. And they also seem to be wearing a very peculiar headdress that seems to mark them as being members of the staff, which you figure because they are constantly being pulled aside and given instructions or demands or asked questions, at which point, as soon as they're finished, they run back, either changing direction or in the same. They seem quite harried either way.
Fair enough. Is there an obvious, like, place to line up for inquiries?
There is no line anywhere. It's basically
just-
catch as catch can.
Fair. All right.
Okay, so like I've got this rope. You get one end, I'll get the other.
All right, I'm digging it. Let's do it.
Let's see if we can catch a bureaucrat.
I don't know what that means.
We're gonna trip one.
That's very rude. Please don't.
Aw, you're no fun.
Then how do you propose we get a bureaucrat?
By politely flagging one down.
Okay, obviously you've never dealt with bureaucracy before.
I deal with bureaucracy all the time. It's just
I know, I'll
always
set up a
from a
cage with
position
some
of
food in
power. So
Yeah, that is actually a fairly
I
important
know.
distinction. So I am going to say that Aurelia can roll persuasion to try and get someone's attention, but this is going to be with disadvantage.
And here I was hoping to bait a trap.
I know, right? What kind of food? Do bureaucrats
oh
like?
god damn it! Why did it have to be
Wasted
That
a
would've been
natural
so good.
20.
Oh, would have been so good.
That would have been a
Alright,
35. Holy shit.
You manage to gather enough attention to get several of the bureaucrats to look over at you, but you don't seem to be quite insistent enough or in as much of a hurry enough for any of them to and change their task to actually help you.
Out of character. This is out of character. Hey, assholes, pay attention to us.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the other thing is I'm not entirely sure what we're going to ask if we do get their attention.
So, buddy, do you know any good place a cult would hang
Okay.
out?
Okay. I'll find one, and I'll run him down, and I'll grab his legs and take him down. You can ask your questions.
No, I like your...
Okay, Lily, make an attack roll.
Oh no.
Oh no! Wait,
Oh,
what?
no.
Just, well, in this case, it would not be with proficiency, but just roll with your dexterity bonus. The tripper becomes the trippy.
Oh no!
You are unfortunately just a little too small, and this place is too chaotic. And when you go to trip someone, you instead get knocked in the back at just the wrong moment and fall flat on your face.
Okay, I'm trying to think of a thing
That's
to
right, I
do.
have hand grenades.
Please don't use those in here.
They're way too expensive to use here.
Actually, I kind of do just want to shout, "Hey, assholes, we need some help."
All right, that would be an intimidation check.
Okay.
That's far too rude.
You know what? Let's burn a lucky just because I can. Let's use that 16 because I can. That's how lucky works.
Yes. Well, just shouting rudely actually gets you less attention than you might have thought.
Yeah, I figured as much.
But you do see one long-suffering bureaucrat who just rolls her eyes and then heads over and asks, "What is it that you need?"
Really quickly butts in. I apologize for my
Yes. What do you need?
What? Just talk.
Well, okay, this is why I wanted to discuss what we actually wanted to ask before we got to this point.
So let's just say that there's a quick flashback here, where you guys are all standing outside of the building.
Look, it's about the thrill of the hunt.
Yeah, look, okay, so we're trying to find out where they're making their base or whatever. So if we don't necessarily know exactly what that looks like maybe they're taking over some kind of already existing structure somewhere, like a fortress or something.
Don't they
or maybe
also operate like as a legit religion or something like
do
that?
they? I don't think so.
Or am I misremembering?
They are. They have taken over a cult of a dragon from the inside out. And the cult's job is to stay quiet and influence politics.
Okay.
But
So the cult, like the cult itself, does not operate like, as a legit religion that secretly does another thing.
right, there's no actual, draconic religion, or at least there isn't supposed to be.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. Was that like I thought they were supposed to be like they were saying they are one thing, but secretly they're this other thing. So
Well, that is true. It's just that they are secretly one thing in the first place as well.
Yes.
Yeah, that was my understanding. All right, so basically, I was kind of thinking I was looking for like some current affairs, as it were, like if there's news of anything unusual could give us a hint as to what's happening. But I mean, that's very vague. It's hard to ask specifically about that.
A question like that would get you a lot of information that you would not necessarily be able to use.
Yeah. This is tough. I mean, to be honest, part of it, and this might not actually end up being helpful, it would be just like information about the general state of the warring states, I guess.
Yeah.
And so we could ask about that, or ask how we can find
How
that
about
information.
maybe if one of the warring states has recently gained a lot of unexpected power very quickly?
I mean, that is one of the things that I was thinking be on the lookout for.
Yeah.
All right, but Marlia did tell you that they were very recently still trying to establish a foothold on the islands because it had been placed on the back burner because of the warring states situation.
Oh, okay.
So whatever their presence is on the entire archipelago, it is in this city.
Okay.
Wait, sorry. Their presence is in this city?
Yes, this is why you've come to this city in particular, is because this is a relatively neutral place, a good place for like a place to observe the warring states around them. Because it's a relatively safe harbor.
Drastically misunderstood.
Yeah.
Then I thought that it was going to be like some hideout in the where they were trying to hide the factory or whatever.
Well, they do also want a place that can do that, but it's not necessarily going to be in a dungeon underneath the palace because they don't have any influence in the palace at the moment.
Right.
Well, then what do we ask? We can ask if like any group has made like suspicious purchases of some sort. Like maybe like maybe they like buy a building to hide the phylactery in. So that way they can legally say we own this building. You can't really search it without some sort of like legal warrant or whatever.
Could potentially ask about any large influxes of foreigners to a given area.
They wouldn't be foreigners, though. They'd be... wouldn't they?
Well, not as foreign as you, but the Cult of the Dragon has members from all 5 of the areas.
Okay.
And although they look relatively similar to you, they can tell each other apart
Okay.
pretty well.
Alright, so yeah, we could ask about large influxes of foreigners. That would work, I think.
Sure. Yeah, maybe we could ask about like any new groups in the city, perhaps. I mean, there's a lot of paperwork around here, so I assume that like property sales and things are tracked. Like I don't know, part of it is we don't necessarily know exactly what they have good records for, but we could ask about that.
Yeah, we could.
We can ask sort of, is there any, just explain that we don't know what kind of records they have, but we're looking for information about any new groups in the city, any influx of foreigners, any organizations buying up land, things like that.
All right, just to make it clear, what exactly is it that you tell the bureaucrat once you flag one down successfully?
Basically what I just said, but said more eloquently because I can't think of how to do that right now.
So, we're on the lookout for foreigners and for foreign organizations. Has there been any recent activity or recent arrivals?
Yes.
Yeah.
And also just any large and noteworthy, purchases of property or things like that.
Okay, at this, the bureaucrat listens, nods several times as you speak, and says, "No new foreign organizations, not recently at least, but there has been a foreign group that has made an interesting purchase recently. They rented out a place in the docks up until really just not much more than a week ago. They finalized a purchase that they were haggling over for some time, and from what I hear, the current owner got quite the price from it, but then that's to be expected. There's really only the one big watchtower at the edge of town. It's something of a landmark here."
Man, these guys really don't know subtlety, do they?
No, they really don't.
All right. Is there any documentation about that property that we could look at?
Are you buyers or sellers?
Of that property?
Yes. What is your interest in the property?
Well, I mean, we couldn't be sellers, right? Because we don't own it.
I don't know that until you tell me.
We're looking to buy it. Yes.
Well,
we are looking
yes,
to purchase
if we were theoretically looking to purchase it, yes.
All right. Well, I can show you deed and how much it sold for. I've got a copy here. I'll go get it for you.
All right, thank you.
Then she hurries off and gets interrupted twice before she leaves the room.
See,
God, I hate
sometimes
this
being
place.
a rude asshole just works out. Just saying.
In your case, it was more like a depressing asshole.
Work with what you've got.
We got pity, is what we got.
I'll take pity over not getting any answers.
All right.
All right, just let you know I need to go in about 5 minutes. So,
in a moment, you get the deed. And, just based on what you remember of the local currency, this thing sold for like a fortune. Like a single watchtower at the edge of town should probably be about half that price, even if it's a city landmark. So the purchase they made in a hurry. That or there's something special about it that you're not aware.
I'll ask if there's anything special about it that would drive the price up that much.
Well, there's the enchantment of trees nearby, but that's mostly for aesthetics.
Okay.
What sort of enchantment?
Oh, it's just, cherry blossoms.
Okay.
Would you happen to have a
cherry
blueprint of
blossoms.
the building?
I should buy a cherry tree.
I would have to check. That might take. I would have to get back to you tomorrow.
That's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
All right. And she quietly holds her hand out.
Oh, how much? Shit. Okay. Aurelia is going to use her astute powers of social observation to try to determine from what she has witnessed so far while in this location, exactly how much she's supposed to give this woman.
Okay, that would be a
Perception? Or
perception. That's the one. That's the word.
Right.
That would be a perception check. All right. You've seen copper coins being handed back and forth, usually after the bureaucrats hand something over or after a relatively long discussion. So,
all right.
it's just a small tip.
All right. Aurelia will give something on the upper end of what she thinks would be appropriate. Err on the side of generosity.
Especially
Mark off
since
5 copper.
Especially since we kind of got her in a very rude way.
That's literally how this place works.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for your assistance.
And thank you. And then she hurries off.
All right. Well, time to check out that place or something. Except I need to go, so I will not be checking it out if you guys are continuing, which is fine. I don't mind if you play a bit more without me.
Well, actually, I was going to say something.
Okay.
Which is that you have, in this particular case, caught the cult with their pants down.
Oh shit, so we could just go immediately. We don't need, like, if we don't wait for the blueprints, we can, like, really get the drop on them.
Huh.
When I say that you caught them with their pants down, I mean they don't even have assets in place who could even hope to stand a chance against you guys, and you have successfully smuggled your weapons up to the hill.
Right. Okay, well, I mean, considering that our strategy so far around here has mostly been,
Blitzkrieg.
go in hot as quickly as possible, yeah, I'm down for that, although
And just...
only if we wait, I guess, until next session, but unless you guys want to do it now.
Well, I wasn't going to run a combat. It's that one-sided.
Oh,
I was going to ask you how you slaughter your way through this tower.
Oh, wow.
Bloodily as possible.
Yeah, like, I just blast
Because,
everybody.
yeah,
I
just... Basically, once Grunash pulls Temper out, Temper is able to just sort of assess the people in the tower and the complex, the small complex around it, and just say that, oh no, these are very weak people.
Yeah.
We can just run in and deal with this.
Yeah. Angel mode, like at the very onset, just to make an impression. Blast a couple holes through some people.
All right. Well, sorry, I do really have to go right now. So if there's anything critical you want to say before I do, please say it now. Otherwise, I need to go.
All I want from you is, how do you smash your way through this tower?
Very elegantly.
Like any sort of favored tactics or spells?
Not really. I mean, sorry if that's boring.
Yeah, that's fine.
I feel like Aurelia just, she's, just whatever's effective. I mean, There's lots of low-level people probably just using a bunch of multi-target things, jumping from person to person with the silver strike, whatever it's called. What's that thing called?
If you come up with something creative, feel free to share it when next week comes around.
Fair
Or
enough.
actually, no, not next week. Next week I am on a family vacation.
Okay.
Oh, where to?
Florida.
Oh, nice. Well, have fun. I'm off of work next week. I'm taking the week off, so
That's...
more time to just relax, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, see you in 2 weeks then.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night. And Kaelon, this will include Monday.
Okay. Oh, okay, yeah. Well then, oh well.
Yeah, sorry.
It's alright.
I'm sorry I had to have surgery
No,
done.
it's fine. It's fine.
I feel terrible.
It's fine.
Physically,
Oh, okay.
not emotionally.
I listen, I 100% figured you meant physically. But yeah, do we find that phylactery, or or is that just not a thing that?
You do not. They have
Okay.
not even finished setting up to be able to make this secure enough to have it.
Okay. So yeah, we just... I like the idea of just using the angel mode to fly to the top and just blast who's ever's there at the top, but I don't think that would work quite as well as teamwork. So work from the bottom way up.
Yeah. Plus, it might not be that good to have too large a profile on
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
front.
Yeah, it would look impressive, but then I would have a lot of questions asked about me. So
Yeah, by a lot of upset genasi with variety of weapons.
yes, so not doing
Look,
that.
just say you're a radiant genasi. It's fine.
No, I'm a genasi made out of purple light. It's great.
Yeah, the holy element, the radiant element.
Mm-hmm.
It's essentially what you are.
It's essentially what I am. Anyway, I guess the session's done.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna stop the recording.